Hi again. Still talking about solar stuff. Um, Talking today a little bit about the idea of a fuse and what it's good for. It's kind of the same subject as let's all not burst into flames. Um, you've seen lots of different pieces of equipment that have fuses in them. Whether you know it or not, you turn something around on the back, there's a thing you can unscrew and there's a fuse in there. They're in your car, they're in your boat, they're in motors, things like that. So gear have fuses in them. You buy some stuff for a solar solution and that stuff is going to have fuses or what amounts to something called short circuit protection or surge protection. When something is wrong with the way the electricity is flowing into that device, it will stop the flow and protect the device. So when you're going through YouTube and looking up how do you do all this stuff, you get to people talking about fuses and circuit breakers, and inevitably they cut scene to the scene of a house burning uncontrollably. The idea there is that all of those fuses we've talked about are protecting the pieces of equipment. It's not your charge controller or your inverter that's likely to burst into flames. It's the cables that they all connect with. That's why we talked about having thicker cables, thick copper cables that can really take the flow of a lot of energy. So you size your cables according to the expected energy flow, and then you sort of oversize a little bit to take into account the thing, safety. Well, if something goes wrong with the batteries, or I do something wrong, I connect something incorrectly, or I drop something metal onto the wrong connect, some stupid thing happens, or something goes wrong with a piece of equipment, a surge of energy can come rushing through these cables. Yeah, the devices will be protected, but the cables are going to overheat and burst into flames and burn down your house. So the idea is you need to have a fuse at the beginning of the cable run. So when you go to buy a fuse, this is a very small item. It's a small item. A fuse for your battery line looks like this, and you can get them from anywhere. They come in all kinds of sizes, and there's recommendations of what to get. This is a particular fuse, an ANL 150 amp fuse. I went on Google and I said, what is the absolute best fuse I can get? And that's the one I bought. Don't buy the cheapest one by a long shot. It's a small part of a big system, but this goes at the beginning of the line after the battery, and it's protecting all the rest of the cabling after the battery, between the battery and whatever's trying to get power. So those lines will be safer for having this in it. There's also circuit breakers that we'll see and how they protect lines moving between the charge controller and the other devices. And we'll show you that when we look at the system that's right back there. But this conversation was about fuses and not buying the cheap ones, and the fact that they're going to keep you from bursting into flames. Next quick conversation is going to be about expectation setting. Anyways, thanks. See you later.